Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever this video finds you. Welcome to a second video, the part 2 for the Python print function. And today basically we'll delve in deeper to the print function. In the previous video basically we dealt with the basics of the print function, and we just printed a couple of variables and you were able to understand how we output values on the command line of IDE. Okay, but today we will go deeper. As you can see, I just sketched a little bit of notes, and today we'll deal with the print function syntax. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that the print function has a number of parameters inside its parentheses. Okay, so any function or other function within Python, they usually have values inside it, or other parameters inside it. So for example, you can see here the print function has values, or rather it has the parameters of values, parameters of separate, and file, and flash. Okay, and I'll just give you an example. So the print function, so for us to write the first parameter of the object, or as Python defines its values, we write something like hello world. Okay, so the hello world, now this itself is an object. Okay, a parameter object. Okay, and in our definition here it says that you write any object and as many as you like. So we can also not only write one object here, but we can also add more objects. Okay, but before we add more objects, I want us to write another object of the int data type. Okay, so we can write print, but before we continue, let's declare a variable and initiate an int value. So for example, you can say num1 is equals to 20. Okay, so when you come and print, num1, basically it will print this value of 20. So this num1 itself is an object. Okay, so let's print. So we get 20. So another thing you need to understand, as I was saying, you can print many objects. So for example, let's declare another variable of 2 and give it a value of 30. Okay, so we can come here and print both values in just one print function. So you can say num1, and then use a comma to separate them. Okay, and you write num2 inside the parentheses. Okay, so for our output we'll get 20 and 30. So another example, you can come and say print, you can put brackets and say num1, and then separate it and write num1, and then separate it again, put other bracket, or other braces, and then we write num2. Okay, and then another comma, and then we write num2 here. Okay, so when we print it, we'll have all these objects printed here. Okay, so let's print, and you get num1, 20, num2, and 30. Okay, so this is how we print objects in the Python, rather in the print function. Okay, so we can remove this code. So let's just remove let's remove the whole of it. So now we've dealt with the objects, so let's now deal with separate parameter and the end parameter. So for now we won't deal with the file parameter and the flash parameter. Okay, so the main function of the separate parameter, so basically it separates two objects in the print function. Okay, and it's usually very optional. Okay, so for example, I'll just rewrite the previous examples and show you something. So right now let's write a is equals to, this time let's write 50, and then b is equals to 60. Okay, so let's print it and write a, and then a, separate it, then write b, and then separate it to the right b. Okay, so when you print this, it will give us a 50, b 60. Okay, however, when we look at this value of a, we haven't put any space next to this double quotes. It's just close to the a value is close to the double quotes, and you need to ask yourself why, or rather where is the space coming from. Okay, even here, between the a and the value of b in quotes, there's still a space. Same to here, there's still a space. So you need to ask yourself why, or rather how are we getting that space, and that space is implicitly coming from the separate value of the separate parameter, which is already defined within the print function. So it's not a must to explicitly define the separate and end value for it to maybe work within the print function. It's already defined within the print function, and that's why we have this default value of these two single quotes and a space in it. Okay, so basically when we don't explicitly define the separator, it usually just outputs a space in between the objects. Okay, however, we can still come and explicitly put in the separator, and in this case let's define another value of a. Let's write b, and then at the end let's come and say sep is equals to, we can write 0, 0, 0. Okay, so let's print this. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so you can see, and here you don't have to put some space, so just be like that. So you can see, let's run again. So you can see when we print, or rather when we define two objects inside the print function, and then at the end of it we define the the separator what is it called, parameter, we in between it will have the values of the separator parameter. Okay, that's why it says that it specifies how to separate objects. So basically it comes in between two objects and puts values in those two objects. So that's the work of the separator value, but it's not a must you explicitly define it unless there's something specific and important you want to do with it. Okay, but as a default to just give you the an empty space in between the two objects. Okay, so finally we'll deal with the end parameter. So for the end parameter, it says that it specifies what to print at the end. Okay, and the default of it is that it gives you a new line. Okay, so if you come here and print another line, sorry about that, so you come and print another line, and let's say I love doing exercises. Okay, so when we print it, we'll have a new line after this print function. Okay, so this now is the work of the end parameter. Okay, so it's implicitly defined within the print function already. Okay, and so its work is to make sure that after one print function you have another line for the other print function. Okay, but still we can explicitly define it. Okay, and in this case we can come and add it here. Let's say end is equals to, so let's add two new lines, then and then don't leave space between here, and we write another print function and say I love working. Okay, so when we print here we'll have one new line, and then we have this print function, but here we'll have two new lines. Okay, so when you print, you see there are two spaces. Okay, oh sorry about this some mistake, this is a mistake I've made. Let me see. Thank you, I now rectify the mistake. So one thing you need to be careful is the slash. I added this slash instead of this, so the slashes need to face on this side. Okay, for you to get new lines. Okay, so as you can see, it now has printed two new lines. Okay, so that's the work of the end parameter. It basically prints something, rather it prints something at the end of the print function. However, it's not only, it doesn't only print a new line, but you can print something else at the end of the function. For example, you can also use the end to print a statement, a value. So for instance, here you can add the end parameter and print something like a statement: I love walking and swimming. Okay, so when you print, you see it will add this value at the end of I love walking, and then to write and swimming. Okay. However, something to note as you conclude, you cannot add another parameter in front of the end parameter. Okay, so here you can't come and say, or rather add another object like I love walking and swimming and talking. See, it gives you an error because the end parameter is the one which comes at the end of the print function. Okay, so basically that's all I have for you today. I believe this video has been of benefit. However, my encouragement to you is go and visit more videos, or rather go and visit more material, learn more on the print function and other functions for you to have a clear understanding, and you can redo this video more and more and more. Otherwise, thank you and God bless.